Hey everyone, Richard here, and I did a trade for a pretty major Silver Age key, so let's just get into this. Alright, so the beginning of December, I reached out to someone about doing a trade. I'm not going to name them. If they were to happen to see this video and they wanted to say it was them, that's fine, but I'm not going to name them. Um, but they had a book I was interested in, and I've been meaning to trade away some of my books or sell them or just kind of consolidate. So I traded some pretty decent books for this. I traded my Werewolf by Night 6.5. I've been meaning to actually downgrade that book because it was higher grade than. I know it sounds weird, but it's higher grade than I actually wanted. I want that book at about a 4. Um, when I initially got that book, I got it thinking it was much lower grade than it was, and when I received it, I realized it was much higher grade than I was expecting. I graded it and got the grade. Great win at the time. I like the character, but it's more than I need for that particular Bronze Age book. Um, so I traded that one away. I traded my Batman Adventures 12 9.2. I might replace that at some point, but it's such an abundant book, and it was just a 9.2. It didn't feel like something I needed to hold on to. So it was an easy kind of trade fodder. And then I traded one of my spare copies of Edge of Spider Verse 2. Just the regular cover was a 9.6. I'm a big Gwen fan, and with that comes multiple copies of certain books. So I had an extra copy of that I traded away. So those were the 3 big books in the trade. And I actually got 2 books back. One is just sort of it's a good book, but it wasn't anything I was really after. It was more to balance the trade out. So I'll let it show that one first. It is a very cool book, don't get me wrong. I don't know if it'll be a PC book or it'll end up being more like trade fodder down the line. Um, but it's definitely not like a nothing book. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 3 in a 9.0. Yeah, like I said, it's not a nothing book. This is definitely sort of an iconic book, and to any Turtles fan, I'm sure it would be great to own. I do really like this particular cover because I like the van. As a fan of the animated series, the whole Turtles in the Van thing is very cool. So who knows? I might actually end up keeping it. I don't have a first print of number 3, so still on the fence whether or not this is a keeper for me or something I will end up trading or selling down the line. But like I said, this was mainly to balance out the values. I will say the person I was trading to valued my books higher than I personally valued them, which was unusual but great. It made this trade way easier, more fair than I had expected. So this is the first book. Um, yeah, looks good in the case. This is the newer magazine cases for CGC. I hadn't seen one before. I'd only seen the old ones, and it's definitely way more solid than the old case. So maybe I will finally submit some of my magazines to CGC. So yeah, just a little side note there. All right, but the big book I traded for, again, I traded those 3 books as far as like the quality books go. And I got this back. Tales to Astonish, number 27, the first appearance of Ant-Man. This is a book I had wanted for a long time. If you could go back into my videos, probably 2016 or 2017 Tucson Comic Con, I was talking about Tales to Astonish. I was looking for First Wasp, and I was kind of just saying I kind of think I like the boat had sailed on this one. As you're kind of in like peak MCU time with Ant-Man, and I didn't really want to put what was needed in to get this, so I kind of written the book off entirely. So when I saw this and was able to trade for it, I was like, you know what? I can get rid of some more comparatively modern books for this that are semi-replaceable and get this and add this to my collection. This is a really cool book. I don't know if anyone of you have read this particular issue before. You can definitely tell that when it was written, it was not written to be a superhero story. It is definitely in the vein of like weird science horror. Hank Pym is kind of a brilliant coward in the story, and he actually destroys the ability to even turn small in it at the end of the story. So it's definitely an interesting read. It's the same character, but you can tell it was not made to be a hero book, which makes it kind of cool. Obviously, he's a very early Marvel hero character, so very cool. I'm glad to have it. I've wanted it for a long time, never thought I'd get it, but I feel like this might give me the excuse to finally track down a first Wasp. Also, all that glare, hopefully you can see it all right. But yeah, classic art there. And it's off-white pages. It's a lower grade, but off-white pages for this lower grade is always welcome. Yeah, if you've never read this story, I recommend it just for sort of the history of it. And I am, yeah, super glad to have it. Yeah, I think I do have to search down a Wasp now to go with it. But Stanley story, Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko art, and a Jack Kirby cover. What isn't to like about it? Good old Ant-Man, Hank Pym. So yeah, that was the trade I did. This is definitely the biggest book I've picked up this year. And speaking of, I will be doing a top 10, I think, comics. I was going to do all the collectibles. I think it's going to be comics pickups of the year video, hopefully before the end of the year. I'm thinking sometime between Christmas and New Year's that will drop. And there might also be a giveaway attached to that, just for the fun of it. So look out for that. Make sure you're subscribed. But yeah, let me know what you think. Where does this rank in Silver Age Marvel keys for you? How significant would you say this particular book is? And if you ever read it, let me know what you think. If you get that same vibe that this was not written to be a hero comic. But yeah, that's all. Hopefully you enjoy this quick little video of probably my biggest pickup of, no, definitely my biggest pickup of 2025 here at the end of the year. So that's all there is. Hopefully you'll enjoy. Take care, everyone.